welcome back to Shots Life. This week we're back on the 2005 American Eagle, except for we're going to be working on the tow. So the tow car, and we've done a lot of updates to this thing already, but this is going to be the big one that's going to make it a tow car. We're going to put the tow hook on the front and all that assembly, air brakes, the whole nine. So stick with me. It's going to be a fun episode. Cutting holes in my new car. All right, so we got our RoadMaster tow hitch for the front that's made just for this, the Grand Cherokee Summit. So we'll be pulling that apart. That's going to be the main thing we're hooking up. We got the wiring harness that came from Dodge that powers the power steering or keeps power to it so it doesn't get the death wobble when you're towing it. We got the Air Force One braking system. I mean, it's supposed to be the best, but it has Air Force on it, so it's got to be the best. And we have the mystery box, which I don't even remember what this is, so we'll figure it out when we open it up. I'm sure it's something we need. All right. Well, let me get to opening these boxes up. I'm going to read through some instructions, and we'll go through from there. Really, the only thing that I am really intimidated by is taking off the front valance. With, it's got the windshield wipers, the sensors, the camera on the bottom, and all that. Just taking that off is just kind of intimidating me. I don't like taking my new car apart, but it is what it is. We got to do it, and I'm definitely not going to pay somebody. And we need to get this rolling. We have a trip in about a month or so that we'd like to take it on. So, you got to start towing it sometime. So the big expense is done. Actually, it's not yet. It is done. We paid for it, but the tow bar is not actually itself isn't in yet. It's a RoadMaster high-end tar bar. It's coming, but we'll get it when we get it. So let's get on this, opening this up, figure out what we got, look at some instructions, and we'll go from there. All right, I'm getting ready to open the mystery box. Okay, it's the wiring harness for the for this cable, the hookup cable between the motorhome and the tow vehicle. So that's for the brake lights. Very good. That makes sense. All right. Everything's back on track. I ordered it so long ago, I don't remember what I ordered. All right. Let me get these boxes torn down, get these ovens opened up, and we'll go from there. All right. So this is the Dodge wiring harness. That's how it comes. This is the kit that you need to power your power steering on when you're towing the car. So it's a definitely an interesting deal. It comes with instructions, which is good because the dealers honestly don't know much about it. When you talk to them about, I found this on a forum. When I went to order it, the Dodge guys at my local shop had no idea what I was talking about. They did look it up, and it does go to a Jeep Cherokee for the power steering. It also goes to a Dodge Durango. So if you're interested in the Durango, which we would have been, we just didn't know we could tow it. This kit goes on this exact same kit goes on that as well to power the power steering. So something to know if you're interested in using a Dodge Durango as a pool car or towed, you can use it. All right, well, let me get cracking on this, opening this up and seeing what it's got to offer. All right, there's quite a bit going on here. So this is the actual RoadMaster base plate for the Jeep. So I'll have to take the front end off to put this on. And then this is the wiring harness for the brake lights and all that. That's the wiring harness for the power steering pump. And then this is the braking system. So this will be needed to add to the bus. Yeah. So there's quite a lot to this. It's going to be a long process. We're just going to take it one bite at a time. It's a good thing the wife doesn't need the car for a while. All right, so I'm going to start reading through this stuff, and then we'll start taking the front valance off the Jeep, and then we'll just kind of go from there. All right, so I'm finally getting started on the tow car. I've got the toad. I got the two little plastic things picked out there, like the instructions say. Now I'm going to have to drill out the wheel well rivets that are back there. And there's one 10 millimeter bolt on each side. So I'll get that done, and then we'll just go on to the next thing. I'll probably just put this on speed, and we'll go from there. right, so this has been really interesting so far. I've done everything they said to do. It does all fit. I had to adjust the bumper and it bring the bumper down. I didn't like doing that. I don't like adjusting things, but I guess that's what you got to do. So now I got to drill this 1/2-inch hole so that the other side can get bolted to the bumper. Woo! I better get a little oil on this. Into my hole. A lock washer and a nut on the other side. I don't know how I'm going to get in there. This is going to be awesome. This is going to be great. Probably should have put that one in first because it's inside a cavern. Of course it is. And you can't get it to it from the backside or anything else. So this is going to be exciting. So I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to go eat. I'll get back on this in the morning. See you in the morning. All right, so it's the next day and it's like late in the afternoon. I just got done editing a boat video for you guys, but I wanted to get back on this. I need to get going on this. It is decent temperature now. It's still a little chilly, but it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So yesterday we got this one bolted on. The inside bolt was definitely tough, but it's a pretty good system, I think. It's bolted all underneath. So now we just got to do the same thing to the other side. So we'll get over there. We'll get working on that. The hardest part of this whole thing was drilling that hole. I'll have to come back and tighten everything up because the bumper's loose because I needed to pull it to the spacers that are in here, which I still need to crank down. But we'll get both sides cranked first. We'll come back. We'll re-secure all the bolts and we'll go from there. It is exciting to kind of get on this because I've needed to get this going and there's no way we can pull it if I don't get it done. So. But it is intimidating to pull your bumper off your car. All right, let's get to work. All right, so this is a really interesting system. I mean, you can see it bolts up. There's 2 bolt things right there. I think those were for hooks on different models. But that's where these 2 things line up too. And then it also comes into here on this. So pretty neat little system. I like it. Yeah. All right, so yeah, just like yesterday, we got these 2 bolt holes right here that the bolts will go in, and it uses this bolt that's already in there. So we'll take this out, loosen it up. We'll loosen up the bumper brackets again. I loosened those up on the other side, and that way it allows it to drop or raise because of the 2 little spacers that go up underneath. So we'll start by getting this bolt loosened up. We'll loosen our bumper, and then we'll start putting this on. All right, let's do that. Yeah, a little oil works wonders every once in a while. All right. Now we'll get these 2 bumper screws, one in there and one up here. We'll get those a little loosened up again. And that just allows that bumper to move around a little bit. When I put those spacers in, it'll be able to bring it down to wherever it needs to go. All right, so that's gonna go just like that. And there. These bolts go in those 2 holes. Maybe. Let's see. That and the adapter. We'll go forward. Not trying to get anything tight right now. We're just trying to get it in play. If everything's started, should be a lot easier. All right. Very good. And we got our 2 big spacers, and those go in between the bumper and the 2 bolts we put in. Of course, this is the one we're gonna have to drill. Let's get the other one kind of set first, and then we'll go from there. I can do it the opposite way on that one. Probably not, but be nice if you could put the bolt in first. Oh, maybe I should wait. Maybe that would be in the less stuff in the way if I drilled that in first. I don't know though. I like it to line up. All right, so it looks like I've already made a mistake. I made it yesterday. I was looking for the nut because I should have 4 of these nuts, right? But it looks like I'm supposed to be using this wire, which makes total sense because I could have slid that in there and it would have held itself in place. So that's kind of neat that they did that. Of course, I didn't use that. I stuck my finger in there and tried to get a bolt in there. So I'm going to undo this. I'll replace it with this, and we'll go back to what we're supposed to do. I need to put a washer underneath this anyway, so, and I think I have an extra washer on the other side. So there you go, a bunch of screw-ups. Let's get it fixed. I think I was so elated to get the hole through. Bigger than that, that's it. That I forgot to pay attention to what I was doing. Well, I don't know. This says with the two bolts, so you think you know what you're talking about. Gee, I think this is harder than the bolt I had up in there. I got it in there now, but I got this bent, so it's kind of not in the right place. I'm not really sure what to do with it. I'll get it bent back. All right, so we're back in business. Let's do the other side. All right, now we just need to drill this hole in this other side, and we'll be good. She's going. Woo! Get some more oil on her. Ooh, that's tough. Oil her again. She's through. All right, so I got that up. I've swept this floor a couple times and wiped it down a couple times. There's still some shavings in there, but I think we got the majority. We'll go ahead and get the spacer put up in here, and then we got our bolt here with our washer that will go up from below, and then our lock washer. No, we don't need a lock washer on this one. We need the little this plate, yep, to shove up in there. Put that on top. Screw that into this. So that slides up in there, goes over the hole, supposedly. So let's get going on that. We'll get this thing screwed in, and we'll actually have the main part of what we're doing done. Even the rest of the stuff is way more intricate. This is the heavy doings, I think. Need more hands. All right, I got it. Now I just gotta get tightened down. I'll get this back in here. I'm gonna go back on the other side, do the same thing, tighten everything up. Let's see. Actually, there's supposed to be a cross brace in here. I better check before I go too crazy. See if I can't get that cross brace in there first, which yep, goes in this bolt. Yeah.
What are you doing today, my friend?
I am putting on a bracket, toe bracket on my my Jeep today.
Toe bracket, oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it's a blast. All right. So once again, their instructions weren't too clear. I put the hard bolts that we took forever to get in the inside, but evidently those got to hold this as well. So I've got to take them out. I got to hold this while I hold that bolt, while I try to get that stupid nut on a wire in there. Isn't that gonna be fun? All right, well, let me suck it up, Buttercup. I'm the one that didn't understand, so I'm the one that's gonna be doing it 3 times. So let me pull that off and we'll start again. Already out. I wonder if that'll just stay in place if I don't touch it. It actually feels like it might have caught it. All right, so it's got it there. I guess we'll go take this other side off and get it ready. All right, that's got it. That side worked fine. I didn't move my camera, but that side worked fine. And this side is just gonna spin in there, I think. I have to get something to hold it from spinning. Very good. That's pretty awesome. All right, so we're kind of at a step that makes me really nervous. I've got to cut these hooks into this fascia so they can stick through. And I'm not exactly sure where they're going to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this back up on the Jeep. I'm not going to put it together. I'm just going to set it up there just to kind of get a feel for where those should come through that grill. And then maybe I'll do some marking and whatever else. Boy, do I not want to cut this, but I really don't have any kind of choice. That's where it's got to go through. So I knew it when I bought this, that's why I was buying it for. And I knew I was going to have to cut this reel. I just dreaded the day. But it's all part of it. You know, we bought this to tow it. So if we're going to tow it, we got to have that sticking through. All right, well, let me get on this. Let me set that up here, and then we'll go from there. Just kind of start getting a feel for it. Let me show you what I'm dealing with in here. So this is what I'm dealing with. I've got to figure out how to cut that through that. in the exact right space. So it comes out right there. But you got to cut through that black part. That's going to be tough. That is going to be tough. And how to get it so it's just right is going to be even tougher. Man, oh man. Wow. All right, so I put this thing up there. I traced the backs, what I think the bar should go. It's rough because this isn't snapped in when I did it, right? Because you can't snap it in. It's not even close to being able to be snapped in because the things can't move forward. So I traced them, came up with a couple drawings on them, and then I took the averages of those and then made the center point where I think the center point should be. So now I'm going to use a 2 1/8, so it'll be just a little bit bigger hole than what's needed. And I'm going to drill through that and make these holes. If they kind of line up right, then I'll cut the side section. If not, I'll adjust those accordingly. Hopefully they're pretty dang close though, because I don't want to be doing a lot of adjusting. Hopefully that makes sense. So let me get drilling on this. Boy, this is scary, I'll be honest with you. If that works, then I'll just do the same drill hole through the front of that as well. But we'll see. I gotta be honest with you though, this is not my idea of fun of cutting through my car. Okay. That's kind of where it goes. I don't want to snap it in, but I'm going to get it close so I know that I'm hitting it. Okay, that one's perfect. And that one's perfect, okay. I can't say I'm not happy with it. It seems to be lined up pretty damn good. Seems to be lined up good. All right. I'll push this up just a little bit. Push that in. And those original marks look pretty good on it. All right, let me mark it up a little more. That one looks good. So I'll go to the other side and do the same thing. Whatever. And this one's just a little off, I think. We'll have to see when we get it pushed in there, but it's gonna be dang close. All right, so I got this fastened pretty good. It's actually coming through on both sides very well. They're very lined up. I don't want to cut them any tighter, but now I need to get this out of the way so I can push it up against the truck. I was hoping that these would fit, but they don't. And they're close. I just want it to look good when it's done, though. I'm afraid to hurt it too much. I was hoping I could just cut them. I'm kind of afraid to use the oscillating saw because I don't want to hit anything else, right? So it's like, I guess that's going to work fine. So we're just going to cut out what we need right now. We just need to get this bracket in. Let's see. We know we're going to cut here. Well, we don't know. Let's cut this one. Spin around. Let's see. We'll cut that to here. Just for now. And that allows us to get that closer to the end. So we're just going to kind of keep figuring this out as we go. So now we just need to do the same thing on the other side. So push that thing through. Only taking out what we need. Try not to do any more. What's needed. All right. Okay, so that one, there we go. Beautiful. All right, so that one's in, as far as I'm concerned. It's tight on that plastic in the back, but I think I'm okay with that. I like that, right? So I think that's going to be fine. I'll have to come back and clean these up a little bit, right? But this one probably have to go. I'll probably have to take more of this off to get those in there, but at least I got it so it can slide back now. Again, we'll come back and clean these up a little more. Probably got to take more of this off. All right, so I've been messing around for a while, and on the front of that, it has two prongs that this hooks to for your electrics, right? Because you're going to have electric going to your car to light up the brakes and or light up the lights and all that stuff and whatever. So you got to have this, and that has two bolts in the front, two places for that to bolt into the front of the Jeep. The deal though is that I need to put in this air ride nipple as well, and this breakaway. And so what I was thinking is just make a plate that this will bolt through that will house the air nipple and the brake pull. And then I don't really want to do diamond plate because I don't like that it's not flat, and I also want to be able to tack this to the back side of that plate so that it just sticks through and looks like it's, I don't know. I don't want to see this. I just want to see the little pull piece. So that's where I'm at. I kind of want to do that. Kind of want to drill a hole for that to go through, and that all in that same place, all mounted to the same thing, which then could be on the outside of the grill. So those little deals in there, right there and there, will pull right through those holes, and I'll be able to mount that plate on the outside of all that. Well, that's what I'm thinking anyway. And I'll just pull that plate straight to that, and it'll have all those gadgets in it, you know, instead of just the one. Good morning, everybody. It is the next day. I went to the store last night and got some 16 gauge metal and a big plate here, and I'll cut this down. But that allowed me to put the electric hookup, the air hookup, and the pull away cable all in the same piece, and then that'll mount to the two prongs that are in the front on the tow bar that will come through right through here. There's little prongs back there. I don't know if you can see them or not, but they're right there and right there. So that plate will bolt on those two prongs in front of this. I will have to cut some of this out so that the stuff behind it can go in there, but it'll be all covered with one plate instead of like one thing here, one thing here, one thing there. I didn't want that. I wanted it all in one place. All right, so I couldn't figure out for the life of me why this thing wasn't pushed back on there, but this plate was in the way. It actually has to tuck up in here, and then these plates are in the way of the top of these, so I had to cut those shorter so it fit up in there. Now it fits up there nice and flush, so I think the bumper will go on, and then I'll reattach this to the bottom of that bumper again, and then it attaches to there. So it's all going to work out. It's just, yeah, I just needed a little finessing, I guess. So, yeah. Nothing in the instructions talks about cutting those two clips. So I think now I can push this on here. We'll see. By the way, don't forget to torque all your bolts, which I should do right now. All right, so we're having a real issue here getting this front on. And what I figured out is it's hitting right here where that should come up underneath this bumper plate. And now the instructions said to loosen that bumper plate and let these spacers pull that down. And I did that. But the problem is now that it's pulled down, it's too far down and it's in the way. So I'm going to have to loosen those spacers up. I'm going to have to put some kind of, I guess I'll just get washers and put them in between. To make that space in between correct, and then I'll put this I'll have to fit the bumper and then I'll put it back on. What a pain in the butt, though. I mean, the instructions clearly said, let the spacer pull the bumper down, loosen the bumper, let it pull it down, which I did. But now the bumper doesn't fit. So how stupid is that? All right, so no sense belly aching about it. Let me get everything unhooked again, and we'll take this bumper back off, raise the steel bumper, and try to put it back on. Crazy. Hope that doesn't change any of my adjustments. All right, so still a little frustrated by this. What I basically did was I loosened all the bolts, put the bumper, you can clearly see where the washers went on the old paint. So I put the bumper back where it was supposed to go. I thought that was odd when I did it, but that's what the instructions said to do, is to loosen those and let it pull it down. Yeah, that was a mistake. I should have washered it up. So put washers in there for more spacers. And that's what I'm gonna do on this time. Now, I don't have anything, those are all loose on the bottom. The bumper's back tight. I'm gonna test fit the cover just to make sure that's what it was hitting. And then if that's the truth, then I'll put washers in and then snug the pull bars back up, and then we'll go from there. Frustrating, because I mean, it's like, man, we're burning time, but it's all part of the process, I suppose. Just, I don't like it. So yeah, that's the deal. So if you're following the instructions, don't let that pull your bumper down, because if you do and you have a Summit, these plastic air dam kits right here, and the ball, they all have to line up. And if you drop your bumper, what was happening is I dropped my bumper below this line. That bumper won't stretch over this. So it's pretty snug on it. So that's what I did. We'll test fit this, and then we'll go back to putting our bumper on. The other thing that I thought might be in the way is this. I had it on the passenger side, and then it's dropped below the bars if it's on the other side. This could be part of the problem too, for sure. But I'll go back through, look at the instructions, and see if it's not ambidextrous. I guess it's not. So yeah, so it goes the other way. Yeah. Yeah, so there you have it. Now it just pushes right up against there. Now I can cut these out so they fit. I'll push it back even more. We'll make sure it fits right, and then I'll go back and put this bar back on and all that stuff. So yeah, interesting for sure. The bumper has to be where the bumper is on these. So I'll, like I said, I'll put washers, big washers in there to make up the space, and then I'll tighten those back up. But now I can cut these out. Now that they're nice and close, I'll get them nice and shaved right, and we'll get these pushed through, and then I can take it back off and redo it all again. But hey, at least we know it's going to fit now. So very good. All right, so I had a good little lunch, and I'm back at this. Now, the only thing that I can even see that's hitting anywhere is right here on both sides. And I don't really know, I mean, that is pretty hard because it's a bend, right? I guess I could cut it this way and just let it push it back. If I cut it, it would probably push. I don't really want to cut on this, honestly. But I think that's what I need to do. So I'm going to cut it right there and cut it right there. And then hopefully that can just push forward as I push this back. Hopefully I may have to cut a notch, but I don't want to cut a notch. So we'll see. Let's cut it first, see what happens. Wouldn't be the first time I put this on and took it off. All right. All right. So now I've cut these things here. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see what I'm looking at, but I cut these so they can move now, right? So this could push out of the way of that bar. The problem now is on top, where that spacer is, I think this piece is hitting the spacer. When I felt there, it's up against the spacer. So now I need to cut that out so that spacer fits in there better. There's a little groove in there from what I can feel on that side. Let's see, this side, not so much. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's a groove, there's a change. So I need to cut those back just a little bit so I can push. I mean, we're so close, it just has to push back a little more. Well, it took us a while, but we finally got it in there, and it's all the way flush now. So that's great. So yeah, good news. Finally, you don't have to take this, put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off. Poor bumper. So I'm gonna clean it out, and I'll get the bottom piece there, put back in there. I'm thinking I probably should run, before I do all that, I'm thinking I should make my metal plate and put it on here and just kind of see how it's going to fit, and then put my modules on there from there. Because mine is a little different. That is the top that it can be, so it can only be that long, and I need to mount all that, the electrical and the breakaway and the air ride, all right here if I can. So that's what I'm going to turn to now. I think I'm going to turn and make that plate, and then yeah, we'll go from there. I'll run the wiring and the tube, at least make it stick out the grill, and then I'll put it all back together, right? But hey, at least we got our fitting now. That's great news for me, because man, it was getting rough. I mean, taking it on, taking it off, taking it on, taking it off. It wears on you over time. But I didn't want to cut any more than I had to, honestly. That was the biggest deal to me, is I want the car to be as intact as it can be. And so that's what I did, and it just took me longer, but it fits now. I think it's going to be great. Hey everybody, we're at the 30-something minute mark as I edit the video, so I just want to go ahead and cut it here. We'll pick back up, we got the base plate on, so we'll pick it back up with the electrical and the air ride and the breakaway and all that stuff in the next episode. So, hey, as always, I appreciate you spending your time with me, and I'll see you guys next week.